DCM works. I got a bad feeling about this.
It was probably a song that reminded me of it, or I'd done an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice.
Writing is definitely an isolating thing.
From an outside perspective, that's weird as
It makes
fuck.
us look really mental.
But that is...
Because of what it kind of said about art.
I had fun in bits. There were fun bits.
We went and bought a value pack of straps.
Oh my god, we did. There is a big lesson here to learn about storytelling. Hey guys, welcome back to the Arthritis Podcast, official podcast of Digital and Creative Media Works. My name is David DCM, creative director, lead writer, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, Ben.
Hi.
That was fairly unenthused.
I forgot to do the soundboard. I've been meaning to do that.
You...
I'm gonna make a soundboard.
That was
of just
very...
noises.
Yeah. You had
And,
talked about that several
Yeah,
times.
it's gonna happen.
But I don't know if that was before or after this came out, because we've got a few podcasts that are now out of order.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a whole mess.
So I'm not sure.
It's gonna be a big old mess of timelines.
But there's a soundboard
going
at
on.
some point. And today, Ben, we are talking about what we think is going to happen.
Yeah, not what
in-
we think, because we haven't seen it yet.
No, what we think is going to happen in Star Wars Rogue One.
State your name for the record.
Jyn Erso.
Forgery of Imperial documents, possession of stolen property, aggravated assault, resisting arrest.
On your own from the age of 15. Reckless, aggressive, and
So we
undisciplined.
do this every time that we
Do like a
do like a
big
midnight
film,
Well,
midnight
pretty much
film.
any time we have to go to the film at
Yeah.
some horrendous hour.
Like
Because we hate,
12:01.
we fucking hate doing the night releases. It's like it
They're
hurts.
really painful because it's like, yeah, you could be a normal human being and just go to and like get home and go to bed at about 3:30, or you could do what we do and get home at 5.
Yeah, it's like you got to record and then get home.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be a fucking good one, isn't it?
I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the film.
I just
For
want to see
once.
something good. I want to see something that
It's
isn't
been a while.
DC at midnight.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, because all we've seen is the BVS and the Suicide Squad or whatever at midnight.
I think those were the only two films recently that we saw at midnight releases, were both
'Cause we were-
very unenthused. I remember the
was a
Suicide
lot of
Squad,
rage.
we were very drunk when we went in.
I had a wellspring of fury after the end of BVS.
And BVS was just a fever dream.
I mean,
So hopefully this one is...
Fever Dream is a good way to describe it. That whole film is just a fucking like, yeah.
So I'm hoping this one's a bit less of a rant.
Well,
rant
because like I hope that we enjoy something. Because like, maybe my worry is that if we don't, will we not have enough rage to be energetic? Like that was a good thing about BVS and Suicide
it was
Squad.
very
is
easy
that-
to be super annoyed.
Yeah, you can like tap into
Yeah.
that like infinite spring of
Suicide
hatred.
Squad was a weird one because it was like, I mean, it was okay.
There's a lot of nothing.
Yeah, I am.
Whereas, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess what do you want? What do you even know about this film?
So I haven't really watched much of it. I've seen like one trailer, but because I did the same thing I did with The Force Awakens, where I was like, no, I'm going to try not to watch stuff. 'Cause I
yeah,
want to
well,
go
because
in fresh.
with The Force Awakens, there was like a 2-year sort of cycle with that film. Like we knew about an Episode 7 like 4 years before it came out. We were like, oh, Disney owns Star Wars and they're making Episode 7. It was a bit of a joke, but it happened.
Yeah, it
And
was
then,
kind of like
2 years
ha, ha,
before
ha.
we got like the first like teaser, and it was like very minuscule, and everyone got angry about Kylo Ren's lightsaber. But now it's like
That was a good fucking lightsaber.
AVG.
My antivirus has given me a gift.
Giving you a gift. That's weird.
She is antivirus.
Is it? Mhm. And so we had like it was like, you know, it's like a sort of marinating. You
You had time to get the juices into it.
like Episode 7, the hype build, it wasn't really hype because I didn't get hyped for it, but like, you know, the marketing.
We no longer get excited about stuff.
Yeah, the
We just get
marketing
sad.
for it had time to sort of dwell and marinate and sort of get into your psyche, and you sort of knew kind of it was, you know, it was a new Star Wars, and there were all the different theories and all these crazy things, but like this film has just been like, hey, new Star Wars, and you're like, what?
They were like, it's got
Sure.
all of your favorite characters.
I mean, that's- we-
Darth
we-
Vader, Mon Mothma.
Yeah. I mean, we vaguely knew about like this sort of prequel-esque film. Technically, it is a prequel.
They've been gabbing. Don't say that. Can't say that. We'll get letters.
Technically a prequel.
Can't
Comes
say
out
that.
before Episode 4. It's technically a prequel.
If we go into the cinema, like, can we start whispering to people? It's a prequel.
It's technically a prequel.
It's a prequel. They'd be like, what the fuck was that?
That's actually the.
Are you worried that people aren't going to know? Because I'm concerned that people are going to go into this and be like, but why aren't they fighting Kylo Ren? Where's Rey?
That's a big thing.
You know what I mean?
I feel like
Are
the
people
first...
going to know when this is? Because there's no opening crawl in this, apparently.
There's no opening crawl.
If you're ever going to need one, it would be in a one of the, because it's a Star Wars story. It's not a main film.
Oh man,
That's
gonna be weird.
One of the things I do know about this film is that there's no opening crawl, from what I've been told.
Oh, that's odd. That is weird.
I don't.
I kind of wish I didn't know about that now.
Sorry.
Because I wanted to go in and be like, "Where's the opening crawl?"
Well,
I
I
wanted
guess
that to be a thing that I could
but
talk
then you
about
wouldn't have
after the
focused.
film.
You can talk about it after the film
Sure.
if it fucks you up again. Like still.
That's really weird. So they're not doing the classic opening scroll
I know,
and to
that's-
pan down onto a planet and then a ship flies over.
You asked me what I knew about the film. That was literally everything. I know that it's Darth Vader, Mon Mothma, and that there's no opening crawl.
Yeah, well, because
And
because there
Felicity
hasn't
Jones-
been like such a
Felicity Jones
long
type.
time between like announcement and film release for this one. There's been a lot less. Well, what the fuck? People have been.
It's just the wind.
It's just noises going on. In this.
It's just
in
the
this
wind. It's
room.
the blinds.
It was this It's like there's been a lot less time for like theories to come out and like everyone to just go crazy over like who is so and so
Well, it's also because it's a prequel.
because it's a prequel.
We
Yeah,
kind of know all the big players.
Well, that's the one thing that the one theory that I saw, and it was a film theory one. And even though I don't really like film theory that much.
You don't like Matt
This-
Pat, the most vanilla man in the world?
Yeah, like this one was
But why
interesting.
then?
It made some interesting points in the sense that like these characters are literally the people who set up Episode 4.
Yeah.
But in Episode 4, they didn't give them any names
So-
because it wasn't important. So the question is, where do these characters go? Like, where do they go?
Well, see, that's the problem with this space.
And the theory they said was just like, what if they become the Knights of Ren? What if they get capped at the end of Rogue One? They get captured and they end up being the Knights
Be
of Ren.
still my beating heart. That would be fucking dope. But then
I
they
would-
be too old?
Well, no, because
Wouldn't they be like 40?
well, one you could
Isn't
just
40 a
say
bit crusty for a Jedi? Oh, no.
cybernetics,
I guess, but like you don't want to be 40 and you're like a crusty old Jedi. Like even
but also the Adam Driver has said that the Knights of Ren existed before Kylo Ren. So the
Yeah.
Knights of Ren were a group.
well,
They
yeah,
were
I
an
know. Well,
entity.
yeah, because he got his name. That's how
He got his name
yeah.
from
He
them,
didn't name themselves after
Yeah.
him. So maybe that'd be cool.
So and that was because if you look at
Are we gonna meet someone called Ren at some point and be like, that's them?
no, I don't know. But like the evidence they gave was like insanely, like basically confirmed. Like you look at the characters who make up the Knights of Ren, and we know about them through some sort of vague extended
The
universe stuff.
novelization.
Yeah, the novelization.
Okay, and the
and
comics
some
to the canon.
concept art. And yeah, and you look at like you can literally just take all of the characters in Rogue One and just be like. You can just draw lines between them. You're like, yeah, that's that person. That's that person. Literally, like the leader of the Knights of Ren is called the Rogue.
Mm.
And her call sign, as we know in the trailer, is
Ugh.
Rogue One.
I sometimes
Like,
Star Wars really
it is
just
on the
bothers
nose,
me.
but it's like if I hope I don't know whether they'll like make that reveal in this film or not, but like I wouldn't be angry.
There's even a shot in the flash that Rey has of the Knights of Ren where they're standing in the same position as they are on the casting. Google, I want to do an experiment. Everyone do this at the same time as Ben. On your phone, Google Rogue One cast and hit Google Images.
Google Images.
Yeah, it is the. Boy, the internet's a weird place.
Rogue One.
Rogue One cast, or Star Wars Rogue One cast,
And
then
Rogue One cast will work.
tap
don't worry.
images,
Tap images.
and it's all gonna be. Tell me what it is.
It's that one photo that
Keep
from
scrolling.
the trailer.
Keep
Jesus,
scrolling.
it's all exactly
Keep
the same.
scrolling. How did they do that? You see what I mean?
What?
Isn't that insane?
What the fuck?
How?
What?
Yeah,
It-
it's all the at
it's all
home.
the same
do
photo.
It. It's all the same photo.
It's all the same photo.
I know. How did they do that?
What the fuck?
They're all different. I don't know how they did it, but they got like, you know what I mean?
Wait a minute.
You know what I mean?
No, this is terrifying.
You know
what the fuck?
You know what I mean?
It's just pages.
It goes on.
Oh, I found a different one.
What's the different one?
It's the different one.
Oh,
We did it.
isn't that insane?
You go. That's. I mean,
Yeah, isn't that
it
fucking
could
crazy?
just be a case of it's. The funny thing is, it's the same images. It's the same image, but like different resolution and aspect
Well, it's
ratios.
all cropped differently for different websites.
Yeah.
But that's so there you go. That's the cast. How bizarre is that? Anyway, I just think
yeah.
that's a like nice internet thing that exists.
That's odd. That's terrifying.
So, but on that idea of that theory, I think here's my concern.
It would get them out of the way for the.
They could just die.
through
I don't
six.
give a fuck. Like if
They
if-
could just die.
It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's like a dangerous universe. But what I'd rather see is a few of them become Knights of Ren, and then some other people go off, and then they get nods in later films. Like one of the best Star Wars pitches ever is the one that Gabe does on his Obi-Wan Kenobi standalone film.
Yeah.
And it all takes place in Tatooine. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
a western.
It's just a western.
It's a
Yeah.
gritty western,
Yeah.
and it's like Darth Maul comes back, but he's like fucked up and battered,
And he's like yeah,
robot legs, and
robot legs. Yeah,
yeah, and it's like this
because
like
no one who
bit
gets
of-
cut in half in Star Wars dies.
Yeah.
That's just a thing. You
And
don't
it's like
die
this-
when you get cut in half.
it's this like bitter
well,
rivalry.
he was canonically alive
He still is
in the
canonically
clone.
alive.
He
Those
still
the
is?
clone, those
The
those
Clone Wars
cartoons
are
are
canon?
canon.
They are canon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is
Well, that's
it's
it's just like all the books in the games have been
what's the new
slashed.
one? The
new.
the one that takes place during the rebellion. Star Wars Rebels.
Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also canon.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like select comics and books.
And
now
they're
are still
slowly
canon.
like reintroducing parts back into canon as
Yeah.
they mention them. You're like, okay, that's now canon.
But it's like it may not be canon in the way that you thought it was.
Yeah, they'll tweak it to actually make it.
Or they'll just take
interesting.
ideas. Like there's the Star Wars Droids, which was an animated cartoon, has the character who is exactly like Rey, looks like Rey, acts like Rey, but is called something different.
but isn't Rey.
But isn't
yeah.
Rey, and it's like, well, maybe
It's
they
basically
maybe
Rey.
they based it off that, or it's just a coincidence. Like
Yeah.
it's probably just a coincidence, but maybe they based it off that.
Well, I think like everyone when Rogue One was sort of teased with the trailer, there was that sort of annoying knee-jerk reaction you see on the internet where people are just like, "Oh, maybe what's her name? What's the main character in this?
Felicity Jones.
The character.
I don't fucking care.
It starts with an R, I'm pretty sure.
Ren.
It's,
Ray.
It's like
Reyes.
it's like Roy or some shit.
Roy,
I don't know.
I don't think
It's like
starts with
Rin,
an R.
isn't it?
No. It's gonna be one syllable, but it's not that.
Maybe whatever
Finn.
it is.
Finn? No, that was Force Awakens.
Back to Star
If I was
Wars
gonna name
cast.
Felicity
Back
Jones
to
something, what would it
Rogue
be?
One cast.
I don't
um,
fucking know.
But everyone was just like, "Oh, that character is Rey's mum."
Why would they
You're
do that? That's dumb.
And
Also, just because Felicity Jones is white doesn't mean that she's related.
yeah.
Like-
So Rey's actor, I'm bad at names. She at one of the some interview.
Daisy Ridley. Got
Daisy
it good.
Ridley, yeah. She
Look at me.
she called it out where she was just like, just because Felicity Jones is white and has brown hair doesn't mean she's my mum.
They do have a real type now. Like, Natalie
Yeah.
Portman, fucking
Oh,
Ray.
I mean, like they
they
look
really have picked.
they look very similar.
They picked a lot of brunette, very
Brunette,
skinny,
British,
slightly
white
tall,
females.
Britishy, whitey
Yeah.
females. Yeah,
Which I don't mind. I mean, it's like whatever.
and it's like Felicity Jones is nice.
It
to look
is
at
Jin.
for a
It's
film.
JYN. It's Jin.
What?
Yeah, it's Jin Erso.
Star Wars is dumb.
Yeah,
Jin Erso.
Jin Erso.
That sounds like a pot plant.
How can you feel Mads Mikkelsen not being a
He's
villain?
totes gonna be a villain. Like, you
So-
don't hire Mads Mikkelsen if you're not gonna make him a fucking villain.
It's the kind of thing where like he is the villain. Like that is who Mads Mikkelsen is, and
he's
he's
a real
being,
sexy villain.
Oh yeah,
You know
I
what I
love
mean?
him as the villain, but he's Rin's father.
I don't know too much, so don't spoil anything for me.
This is like in the trailer.
I only saw the first one.
Basically, he's the one who builds the Death Star,
Right.
and so it's like he's kind of evil, but he's
And do we know? Don't tell me what it is, but do we know like the how and the why of how he got there from being her father?
no, I believe that's what this film talks about.
Okay, so it's
mainly.
looking at like her.
We just
relationship.
know he gets captured and he's her father.
Okay, so maybe he teams up with the bad guys, or they force him to do it, or something.
Yeah, there's all these theories about like one thing that I saw was it's their attempt to explain the literal plot hole in the Death Star
What's it?
of
The
episode
actual
4,
hole.
the actual hole.
Oh, that Mads Mikkelsen
that he
puts it
put
there.
it in as a sabotage because he's still a rebel kind of thing.
Okay,
And
I'll say
that
this.
would explain
I'll
it,
say
but
this.
like that's
No,
super
shut up.
ham-fisted.
No, because also millions of people work on these death stations. Like millions of people.
It's not.
There's a
just
lot
like-
of
it's
engineers.
not just
Someone
like
at some
one
point
dude.
is going to be like, "Why are we building a giant hole to the
Yeah.
middle?" Like,
Just like
no.
why? It's just like he's in the core.
What?
And it's just like why is there just like a hole? Like just goes
He's
all
like,
the way to
guys,
the top.
should we like put some tape over it?
Just put like some ply.
Can we
some
can we
fucking
fill it in, plaster it?
MDF across it?
Is it? Should we? Because I'm really worried about that. And everyone's like, "No, don't stress.
No, don't worry. It's all in the plans.
It's
That's
it's for ventilation. Yeah, gotta get the
Isn't
heat
that
out.
what? It's a ventilation shaft.
But you don't need it. It's
It goes
covered in
all the way.
holes. It's covered in holes. It's a moon-sized planet
Uh.
space station. Fuck, Star Wars is dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So, I
no,
mean,
look. The
it's
point. What I was gonna say was, if that is the case, dumb. But also, I'm interested to see like how they explore, because one of the best parts of the Force Unleashed games is the relationship between like Starkiller and the Dark Side and the Alliance and the Rebels, and like how he sort of changes and interacts with those
Yeah.
people who can be the good guys but do bad things. And that's something that the films really only explored in Force Awakens, and they didn't really, they kind of skimmed
They
it.
just like
They kind of just like
straight off.
they wakeboarded over it. You know what I mean? What are they called?
Kiss
Like
the rail.
what are the ones that you use where you go on the
Oh, skimboards.
skimboard? They skimboarded
Yeah.
over it. You know what I mean? They kind of like
skin boards because you would
because you would
you'd
always
spend most of the time on your skin.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. But no, that's kind of what they did in Force Awakens, of that idea of like you can be a good guy but kind of do bad shit. And that was one of the great things about the games, which are now not canon, but also the second one is trash. Second one is the worst game ever made. But
Yeah.
the first game, that was a really interesting idea, is like, well, how do you go from being really evil to being good? And like, you can't lose certain bits of the dark side. So he can still use Force Lightning when he's a Jedi.
Yeah.
But what does that say about him as a person? And it's these really interesting questions that they kind of probe into with those games. I kind of want to see a bit of that. If her dad's a bad guy and she's working for these rebels, but she's kind of not, she doesn't seem from what I've seen in the trailer to be like a good guy. She's
Yeah.
just a guy doing a job. And I really always like that. I like it when it's sort of, you're not tied to like a lawful alignment.
Yeah.
She might be just like chaotic neutral.
What I'm kind of interested in is what small things we're gonna get from this film. Like, because they're not.
Explain.
Well, like if they're gonna do things like imply that one of the characters, whether a main character or a side character, is like Force sensitive, because like in that time period that would be a big deal.
Isn't there a blind guy in this? So he
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the blind guy is just like he's so like
by definition he has to be Force sensitive.
he kind of has to be Force sensitive, and that's the kind of thing where it's just like, well, if are
But
they
can-
gonna acknowledge the fact that like he's using the Force, or are they just gonna be like he's just kind of kick ass?
Well, hopefully they'll touch on some of the extended universe stuff where you get people that are like wild Force users.
Yeah.
Who just have these like amazing powers, who become like these dangerous like hitmen for hire or whatever, because
Yeah.
they don't know that it's the Force. They just have this strength.
Yeah, so
Or
like
this-
I'm
this
definitely hoping this film doesn't like if someone gets name dropped as being like a Skywalker, I'm just gonna be like no, or like if someone gets name dropped as being a main series
I
character,
will kill myself.
I'm just gonna be like no, don't. Just,
Okay,
just keep
speaking
this
of-
separate from.
Speaking of main series characters, how many minutes of screen time do you think Vader's gonna get?
I hope he doesn't get
I'm calling it 13 minutes.
13 minutes.
No, that's too much. Maybe like
That's way
5.
too much. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get that much.
Did they get? Is James Earl Jones still alive?
Who's he?
The
C3.
voice of Darth Vader.
The
who we're
voice of
talking
Darth
about?
Vader. I'm pretty sure he is. C3PO died.
Yeah, I think-
No, or R2D2 died.
One of.
One of the droids died.
I don't know.
Um,
No, I think it was C-3PO, but if James Earl Jones is still alive, which I think he is, he also does the voice of...
just Google it. We have the magic for the
Oh,
internet.
yeah, that's true. He also does Lion King. He's Mufasa.
Yeah.
Simba.
So
I'm
he's-
assuming that's Darth Vader.
so
I've always
he's
thought that was. It might be someone else
Um,
entirely.
James Earl Jones.
Yeah, James Earl Jones.
I think.
Fuck, is this one of those things where I believe that he's been Darth Vader my entire life and he's never been Darth Vader?
No, I believe he is. He's in Star Wars Episode 4.
Because I know Hayden Christensen...
and The Lion King, so yeah, I guess.
He is, yeah. I know that Hayden Christensen was...
He's also
Darth-
in Conan. Oh, yeah, he's
Which
in
one, the
Rogue
good one?
He was in Conan the Barbarian. And
Is that the Arnold one? Schwarzenegger?
Yeah,
or the
it's
other
the
one?
Arnold one.
Good.
The 1982 one.
Fuck.
He is in Rogue
That's
One.
good. Yeah.
So,
Cool, so he does the voice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Because his fucking Darth Vader voice, when he does it good...
so
is
he's not
creepy.
dead, because he's in the new one, basically.
Well, he could have died, and he could have died in the space between them finishing recording and the film
I
coming
think
out.
that
we
would
would've
have
heard
been
about
like
it?
that would have been a like fuck 2016 kind of thing.
That's
so
true.
I think we would.
Yeah, people were real big with that. They were like, a bad thing happened. This year's cursed or whatever.
To be fair, this year has had like a pretty.
No, it had. The
It's
year's
been-
been,
it's-
the year's been fine. We've had better
Years.
coverage. Also, except Trump. That's just bad. No, look, at any rate, I think what I want to see from Vader is the comic. Okay, here's what I need to see for them to justify what they've done in the difference between the prequels and the original films. Is we need to see Vader get into a fight, get fucked up really bad, and slow down. So we need to see Vader come in, and he does this in the comics, right? He'll come in, and he'll just like start butchering people. Like he's
Yeah.
quick, he's dangerous.
Yeah,
he's like Anakin.
We need that
and he
pivot
comes in
between
and he fucks up. What we need to see is that change from how do you get from
to the basically
Anakin,
being a diplomat,
who is like one of the best sword fighters who's ever lived to becoming this guy who's
lightsaber fighter.
sword fighter who's ever lived
Fuck you.
to becoming this kind of slow, doddery, broken
A
down
diplomat.
old Darth Vader who we see fight in the later ones.
Mm.
And what I really want to see is like I have like if they did this, I would just cream my pants. I want to see him on a planet going to do a mission or whatever, and he comes in and there's like 50 rebels or whatever, and he just butchers every single one. He's taking damage, he's getting fucked up,
Yeah, I
and
think.
he just cuts through swaths of bodies and fucks, and it's brutal and it's violent.
Well, I don't
and
know
he's
how much of a
fast.
focus they're gonna have on like large. That's the thing. Like I don't, because in the trailer they show all these shots and you're like, oh, that's a battle, that's a battle, that's a big battle, but it's like this film's basically a heist film. Like where
Well, what I'm assuming is that they'll use the battles and they'll slip through them to get to their next objective. So
Well,
the
'cause if-
Alliance will create a series of battles as distractions so they can get through.
That's the thing, because if you think of the trailers we got for episode 7, they weren't really as action focused. Like they leveraged on like the one big battle that happened on that the place with the bar and the new Yoda.
You were having
You know what
trouble,
I'm
aren't
talking about.
you?
The orange Yoda.
Ooh,
That place.
yeah,
Yeah.
the place from that film that was more than 6
they-
months ago that we forgot.
Where they reveal the X-Wings and like everyone in the crowd just like jizzes themselves.
It's not Jakku. That's all I.
It's not Jakku.
All I remember is Jakku because
Um,
that's a planet.
But like the trailers for these films seems to have a lot more like individual fight scenes in them.
It's real
like
battle-y.
it's what?
Like there's lots of battles.
Yeah.
Seems like.
So it could be, and at the same time you're like, well, then how are they going to actually tell the story of these characters? So they could do the thing where it's kind of they have them just move through these battles that are going on in the background.
I
Because
would like to see those happening around them, but they're not really directly involved.
Yeah. What? Imagine just like you just have like the characters they're like huddled in like a sort of a trench or something, and just like in the background, like fuzzied through depth of field, you just see Vader just like slicing through people.
I would be so upset.
How ridiculous!
That'd be like
would
playing
that
a
be?
battlefield game,
Yeah.
or Battlefront.
And then
game.
like the camera, like maybe if they do some shit where they peek over the barricade and like camera like pans up and like they just shows Vader just like slicing through people. They're just like nah.
from the boots up.
Yeah, and they're just like nah, let's
Like,
go.
oh,
this
let's go the other way.
Yeah, let's go the other way.
Oh, I'd pay to see that.
I'm hoping they put the same kind of like, because like the funny parts of episode 7 were legitimately funny. Like the three funny scenes in episode 7 were actually really clever. And I'm hoping they can pull that same kind of humor, because it's just the funniest thing where like for the longest time Star Wars has been such like serious business and has always had like this air of authority and like, you know,
There's never been a Grand Master who wasn't. There's never been a Master of the Council who isn't a Master.
The Senate will decide and all these politics.
They don't
and
respect me.
and like as much
Fucking
as
Anakin.
Yeah, and like as much as I hate films becoming more like Marvel films, it is nice to have some of that Marvel
But
banter.
can this be fun? Because it's a film about plans for a super weapon.
That's
and
the thing.
Bad time.
Part of me,
It's like the darkest timeline.
like when they
like that's what this film is.
when they announced it, I was like, well, it's a heist film. Like that's the only way it can work, really, is if it's
Which, by
like,
the way, we love a good heist.
which
film
would be
here.
great. Like if
Yep.
this turns out to be just like a heist film set in Star Wars, I will be very happy.
I'll be chuffed.
But it's the kind of thing where it's just like if the formula follows the same kind of thing we've seen, even in like, you know, other films that Disney has backed, I guess.
So Marvel.
So Marvel. It's
the
I don't-
Lego movies.
Yeah.
Or are they DC? Or are they not? I
The
don't know.
Lego movies. Well, no, they're Lego, but they own the rights to DC
They're
things.
Marvel. The Hulk. They've got like the.
They don't have anything from Marvel in the Lego movie. They only have Batman, which is D. They have like Batman and like Lord of the Rings and shit.
Yeah,
So they have like
it's true.
Warner
It's
Brothers
true.
mainly,
Yeah.
more so than DC.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, like it's the kind of thing where it's just like, what is the film gonna be? And if it's gonna just be a stock standard film, stock standard action Marvel film, it might suck. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be bad.
But like, isn't more Star Wars good?
Oh yeah, like
You know,
more
like,
Star Wars is always good.
Even if it's just mediocre, it's like, hey, that was fun.
Part of me is just like, regardless of what the film was like, I'm gonna enjoy it.
But does that
Like,
make it less? Does that make Star Wars less special at some point? Because it was always the thing where there wasn't much of it, and
I
the bits
think-
that was there were shit.
Yeah, I think for me at the moment, this is a personal thing. Like Star Wars has like, for me, it doesn't matter if it is good or bad. It's just nice to have it back.
To
It's
see
nice to
myself.
have it back in like a form that is reasonably digestible.
You just it's a fun world to be in. It's got fun lore.
It's the
and
kind of thing where it's
mythology.
just like, I wish I was this age when the originals came out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, this is the second, you know, it's
Well, that's what
next
they
best
said.
thing.
These ones are pretty much for adults now,
Yeah.
which is awesome because kids fucking act like adults anyway.
Have you seen the video of like 5-year-olds dabbing while singing Happy Birthday?
That's a real worry.
It's a real culture shock.
Man, I tell you what. Whenever I hear a kid say something like,
Kids these days.
yeah, well,
the
it's fucking-
segment on AFA. Kids
so
these days.
it's school holidays at the moment, and so there are kids everywhere, and I will sometimes just overhear them say stuff,
and
and
you're just like, man.
I'm like, what happened? What are kids now?
Mm.
Like, what? One kid was like, oh, so I'm on the I was walking past the train station. They were coming off the train. They would have been like maybe like 12 to 14. It's hard to judge age. Kids are hard to judge.
Yeah.
And one kid's holding up his iPhone, the other kid's holding up his Android, and they're like looking at their phones or whatever.
Sure.
And one kid goes, "Oh man, like some real shitty weather." And the other kid goes, man, I wouldn't worry about it. It's nearly 4:20." I'm like, "Huh?" You're like, "What?" It's like, "You." First of all, it doesn't make
You're
sense.
on a train.
First of
Yeah.
all, it doesn't make sense. Well, they were coming off the train. I was walking past the train station. Like, first of all, it doesn't make sense. Second of all, you're like, you're 12. What is happening?
Well, there's like two.
And then they
there's-
laughed. I'm like, you're probably not smoking weed. But
No,
I guess
exactly.
it
That's
was
the thing I was
funny.
gonna say. It's just like they're probably
What?
joking, but that's yes.
But I was like, the joke didn't make sense. How is marijuana gonna fix the fact that it's hot as fuck? Like, what? Kids, man, they don't make any sense. To
no.
me.
So I guess I don't know. This film.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
the film,
back to
whatever.
Star Wars.
Look, I'm upset that we have to go to another midnight screening, but it's got to the point now where I'm starting to enjoy not enjoying them. Like, I've started to enjoy being one of the few people
Being
there that isn't
insanely
super
jaded.
enthused.
Yeah.
I love that, because you get to enjoy other people's enthusiasm without having to partake. Like, if someone... Like, okay, so...
For me, it's more of a thing of just like if I don't get emotionally invested beforehand,
Yeah.
then it's fine. Like if the like I had this with Mad Max where the film got announced and I was like, man, they are going to fuck up Mad Max. So I purposely didn't get on the hype train, and like everyone around me was like, oh, it's gonna be amazing, it's the new Mad Max, like it's gonna be the best film ever, and I was like, don't.
Yeah, like, it's just gonna be a film.
And then the
guys.
film came out, and it was amazing.
Mhm.
And then I got really enthusiastic about Mad Max.
Totally.
And everyone else was just like, "Oh, wasn't that good?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? It was
fucking
great.
dope.
It was amazing."
That's
Mad
right, you
Max."
set your expectations
Yeah.
incredibly low. The other thing, too, is there's nothing worse than being sad at 2 a.m. Because, like, that's what tonight... So, for people that don't realize this, the first one that we did for this was BVS, but I went to the, midnight screening of Force Awakens. And I went
right?
to
Yeah.
yeah,
I think I just went to like a 9 p.m.
Yeah.
the same day.
and I caught the,
You were in Melbourne, weren't you?
no, that was for Civil War,
Right.
which I didn't catch at midnight. We were just there and
Yeah,
drunk.
sure.
But, no, so I went to the Force Awakens one, but I went by myself because it
Sure.
had just fallen on a day when no one else was around.
Yeah.
and
So you were like,
I was
whatever.
also like, no one else is gonna want to do this, so I'll just go and
Yeah.
see what I think. But I got the press tickets and I went to the actual press screening instead of normally what I do, which is get the press tickets and then pick the one that suits us best.
Yeah.
So like because normally the press screening is in 3D and that gives me a fucking headache.
I fucking hate
So I always pick the normal
just
cinema.
VMAX or whatever.
It's always like 2 minutes later, and the consequence of that is that you don't get to skip the ads, but it's better than seeing 3D and having a fucking headache.
Yeah.
So I went to the press screening for that, so it was in 3D, and I suffered through it. But the best part about it is that like clearly what they've done, and I think what they normally do nowadays is there's like a certain number of seats allocated to press and a certain number that are like pre-screening super nerd seats.
yeah.
So there were people dressed up,
Oh god, those
and
people.
like
Yeah.
there was an award for like the best dressed person or
Yeah.
whatever.
I went to the pre-screening of the Avengers 2. Yeah, the second
Age of
Avengers
Ultron.
film, Age of
Yeah.
Ultron. And like not only did I rock up like 10 minutes late, so I'd missed like the first like fight scene of the film. Like the entire cinema was full of just like complete fucking nerds, because it was hosted through a like a student society at my
Oh
uni.
boy, that's
So
real.
it was all those people, and I just like I went.
You went to
um,
see the film.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, it's like 3 days earlier. Yeah, sure, I'll go see it, and it was like really cheap, so I just went along. And like, God, it was seeing films that are like really grounded in a fandom with people who are like way too
Isn't it
involved
hard?
with that fandom is just the worst.
If we
It's
can-
so bad.
If we can get through tonight without anyone cheering when someone comes on screen, I'll be happy.
yeah,
Because
I mean,
no, seriously, the Force Awakens midnight thing.
oh God,
When
When
Han
Han
came on screen,
comes
people
up.
cheered.
Yeah.
R2D2 people cheered. Leia people didn't cheer. 'cause fair. When Finn ignites the saber for the first time, no one cheered, but everyone gasped, which is fair.
I mean, like, I can understand, like,
I think the guy that
laughing at a joke that is legitimately funny. Like, when I saw
It's a
Force
funny
Awakens,
film. Yeah.
like, the loudest part of the film was when fucking BB-8 did the fucking lighter thumbs up. because that was hilarious.
It's funny.
That
It's a
was
good joke.
great. That was a good joke. But like when I was seeing Avengers 2, like I think at like one point when they go to the place where like vibranium is made or some shit.
Africa somewhere.
Yeah, like
it's where the cat guy's from. the
yeah,
Panther's
it's
from.
they just like name.
No, not Ecuador. Starts with an E.
I'm gonna continue. So
Sorry for helping.
in the film, they just name drop the location. They don't say anything about like what they just like name drop the location and then like zoom in on Captain's shield. And I was sitting there like
You're like, what does that
I
mean?
was like, I don't get it. And like literally everyone else in the theater was just like, ah!
It's
And
happened!
I'm like, what? Did I
Yeah.
miss something? Like,
Welcome to comic books.
yeah.
It's real
And
bad.
part of me, like, I don't want that to happen with Rogue One. And part of me thinks it probably won't happen
Well, there's-
because
here's-
it's in such a weird timeline where like,
You're not gonna
No,
see
like-
Obi-Wan like
yeah, like the only ties people like to make between the prequels and the original trilogy is just like Anakin and Yoda. Like
Yeah.
apart from that, everyone else likes to just ignore like all the existence of the prequels when you get to the
they're
original
like
trilogy.
just pretend that Alec Guinness and
yeah, just like
don't think about Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
and
don't
the
think
weird
about
aging
Obi-Wan.
thing. Don't think about it.
just think about, and Yoda has always been in the swamp. Yes,
He did CGI flips though at one point, and that was weird. And we just all moved on from that.
but this is the film where it's like it's not really tying them together, but like it's getting dangerously close. So I feel like a smart director, and I have hopes for this guy. Forget his name. It's
Good.
not JJ, which is kind of nice for once. It won't be lens flare the film.
I like a good bit of J.J. Abrams.
You like a good bit of lens flare?
Yeah,
It's
he's
like
a-
bit like.
I don't mind him.
So I'm hoping it's the kind of thing where it's just like because they're getting dangerously close to the prequels, they will just like try their hardest not to reference anything from the prequels.
Or the complete opposite.
Please don't mention that.
Because could
Like,
you imagine?
I don't want them to be like the Senate wanted it this way.
I
Like,
would
I'm just.
I
fall
would
out
put
of my
money.
seat.
I would put money on us seeing an actual character from the prequels.
I would.
No, but it'll be someone dumb. Like it'll be a politician or someone like I'm calling it now. We're gonna see a politician
I'm gonna see-
from the prequels.
God damn it.
Who actually? If I was them, who would I pick?
Dooku? No, he dies.
No, he's dead. He's also
Uh,
dead in real life.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
hard to
he's actually-
hard to cast him.
Yeah. Palpatine, or is he dead?
No, he's the emperor, and he's
He's
also
emperor now.
He's also now just the emperor.
Yeah.
So maybe, but that doesn't count. 'cause he's just the
Well,
emperor.
no, it counts.
No, it doesn't count. I mean like a side B character.
like Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, that kind of a role, but not him, because he's the worst thing that ever happened.
What if we see the fly dude from the pod from Tatooine? Not Tatooine? The guy who like owns Anakin.
You mean Watto?
Watto, yeah, what if we see Watto?
Oh my god, don't die!
What if we see Watto?
No,
What
Dexter
if-
Jetster, four-armed fucking guy from the 1980s dino.
Oh god.
Fucking pay to see Dexter Jetster.
What
in
if we
another
see
film.
the Death Sticks guys again?
Hey, what about some
What
Death
about
Sticks?
some Death
Yeah,
Sticks?
He's,
Yeah.
he's bloody missing an arm now, isn't he?
Yeah.
No, he went home. He's
is he?
fine.
No, he just went home
bounty
and
hunter's
thought
missing
about
an
his
arm.
life.
No, wait. Obi-Wan cuts off a lot of people's arms in bars. Anyway,
He
no,
cuts-
I was gonna.
He cuts off a bounty on his arm. Yeah.
No, well, no, that's not. No, that's a different. I'm thinking
It's
of
not
the
Death
time
Sticks.
in episode 4 where they're at the bar and the guy's like, "What are you doing?" And Obi-Wan's like, "Just leave me alone." And the guy's like, "What are you doing?" And then Obi-Wan turns around and cuts his arm off.
Oh, it was episode 4?
Yeah.
Right.
He's real violent
It's
in that film.
foreshadowing.
He doesn't give a. By that point, he's so far gone. He doesn't give a fuck. He'll cut arms off. But no, like I want to see. Yeah, I guarantee we'll see someone. If I was gonna cast anyone, if I was gonna bring anyone back, it would be. Oh, you could do like Leia's father, do Bail Organa. Oh, his wife, who's
Yeah.
I've forgotten.
Yeah.
What? That'd be
Yeah,
fine.
Such a weird. I just want them to bring back fucking the token black character. What's his name? Oh no, he's in the original. I want young token black
What are you
dude.
talking about? Token
He's
Black dude.
he's from episode 5.
What,
What's his
Lando
name?
Calrissian?
Lando Cal, yeah. Bloody Lando.
He's a Childish Gambino.
Oh yeah, he actually is. Yeah.
They cast him as Childish
Yeah.
Gambino. And he's
God,
in
I'm
the
so excited for that.
Han
He's in
Solo,
the Han Solo.
the
thing.
Han Solo film,
wonder if-
which no one asked for.
Well, it's the kind of thing where it's just like there's got to be some people who are uncredited who are just gonna like pop up.
I hope
because
so. Well, because we had fucking
We had
Johnny
bloody
Depp.
Johnny
read his
Depp.
ugly head. No spoilers for that film, but he read his ugly
Was
head.
Mark
in Harry
Hamill
Potter.
credited in
No.
episode 7? No, he was uncredited.
He was also
we
in-
all knew he was in it.
He was also
but
in none of the material leading
yeah.
up to it. But
we
he'd also
all knew
said,
he was in it.
But he said before, he was like, "I'm not saying anything."
but we all knew he was in it.
I mean, yeah.
We just didn't know how big a role, and because he was uncredited, people were like, it could be major,
Turns
it could
out
be minor.
he just-
could be just literally 10 seconds screen time.
and him just staring very wistfully.
Yeah. So,
And boy,
I
was he
mean,
wistful, though.
boy, that
Jeez, oh my.
just whisked up the
So
wazoo.
wistful.
Just whisked.
I want to see the Obi-Wan standalone film, but just Gabe's. I don't want anyone else's. It's like the best. If you guys haven't listened to it, shout outs to Movie Maintenance. Go to their podcast. It's called Gabe's Ideal Anthology Star Wars Film. It's the best thing. It's the best Star Wars story I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And don't do anything
It's
else.
like
Just give me that.
Back to the Future Episode 3, but
with
Star Wars.
with lightsabers.
Yeah,
and
and
Obi-Wan,
lightsabers.
and it's a Western.
Yeah.
It's like Clint Eastwood style Western. But at any rate, I'm really upset that we have to do this, but I'm also a little bit excited.
Part of
And
me is just like, I'm just looking forward to seeing Rogue One.
I just have to, but I have to be at work tomorrow, like a normal human.
I just get to sleep in all day.
So I get I'm like, great.
You're gonna get about 3 hours sleep.
Well, if that,
Yeah.
because I've got to stay up and make sure it's edited.
the
and
film may
rendered.
be so bad it keeps you up at night.
Oh fuck! I didn't even think about that. What if it's real bad and I can't sleep?
I mean, I'm sure it'll be
Or
like
what if even worse?
it's gonna
What
be
if
a
it's
base level okay.
Even worse. What if it's really bad and we think it's really good and we talk really good stuff about it and then later on we look like idiots?
Like we did with Suicide Squad.
We said very few good things. Re-listen to that podcast.
Yeah, but you said
remember
it was
wrong.
okay, and it's
I
really
think my exact
not that
words
good.
were it's serviceable.
I like
I stand
thinking
by.
back on Suicide Squad. I must have been like delirious because that film was garbage.
Ben, we're always delirious when we do these.
Yeah.
Well, no one thinks
the next
correctly.
one.
Yeah, no one thinks correctly at that time
No.
of night. So
So I
check
guess
back in. I'll put this up
in,
straight
like,
away, and so you can come back.
6 hours, I guess, from
But
now.
probably go if you're going to see the midnight release, go to bed and then listen to the episode the next day. Because
Yeah, give them.
don't
mull
stay
over.
awake to just hear us. That's
No,
insane.
because that would just be a monstrosity.
Yeah, don't do
we
that.
we may have a guest. in
Maybe.
our
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
next
see how
episode.
tired everyone's doing.
Yeah.
But also, if you guys want, we're gonna put up. I haven't decided where. Probably on this feed and somewhere else as well. A commentary we're doing on the Ghostbusters film that we promised we'd do.
Oh yeah, that
So,
we just on the side. We're
keep an
like,
eye
yeah,
out for
let's do that.
Keep an eye out for that. I've also got a new channel.
It's a real mess.
It's called The Antagonist. It's a
Even
video
though we
essay
haven't done
channel.
it yet.
That'll be a mess. Yeah. So if you go to our YouTube account, it's in the suggested, or it's in the affiliated channels or whatever. Go watch that. It's real good. And yeah, I think that's it for that pluggy bit. We're on Twitter at DCM_works. We're on Patreon, patreon.com.
We're on Instagram.
Oh yeah, what's our thing on Instagram?
I don't know. It's DCM.works.
DCM.works on Instagram,
or
which is a new fun thing.
DCM_works.
Let me running it.
Let me double check.
It's
shit.
something. He's
It is
looking at it now.
DCM.works.
Yeah, so follow us on Instagram. You can see some behind the scenes sweet pics.
It's just pictures.
Mostly pictures of my room that I'm staying in
And
temporarily,
feet.
and lots of feet.
Yep.
And
and beer.
beer, which is mostly recordings. But yeah, so that's check in for those social stuff. We're on Facebook as well. And if you want to give us $1, patreon.com/DCMworks. This episode is also powered by DigitalOcean. They're one of my favorite companies. I talk about them every episode because they really are fantastic, and they were kind enough to help us out. So if you need to host a website or you just need some online hosting, if you go to dcm.works/ocean, you can get $10 of credit on us. It's about 2 months worth of hosting. They're super easy to use, takes like 2 minutes to set up, and they cater for all ranges from super nerd to basic bitch like myself. I think that's
Super nerd to
everything.
basic bitch. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, it's pretty perfect. I'm at DCM I Hit Pie,
I'm at literal citrus
and we'll see you guys
in like
in a few hours. It was probably a song that reminded me of it, or I done an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice.
Writing is definitely an isolating thing.
From an outside perspective, that's weird as
It makes
fuck.
us look really mental.
But that is because of what it kind of said about art.
I had fun in bits. There were fun bits.
we went and bought a value pack of straps.
Oh my god, we did. There's a big lesson here to learn about storytelling.